Hello and welcome to a new video. It is time for my September reading wrap up and it's a pretty small one, but I'm still really happy with how much I managed to read considering that I was in Florida for 2 weeks, and then when I came back I wasn't slumpy but I was not feeling great. If you've seen my vlogs you'll know I was in hospital, like in A&E for like 12 hours, and then I wasn't doing great for a good few days, so yeah, but we're fine now. All's good. I'm back. I'm ready kind of for my October TBR. But first, we have to go through what I did read in September. There were a few rereads, but there was also a lot of new reads, which I'm very happy with. And I'm really happy. I feel like I definitely got my money's worth with Kindle Unlimited in September. Let's go through that. In total, I read 10 books. I am going to say one of the books, the last book I'm going to mention, I haven't technically finished it. I have put it on Goodreads as finished because I know that it's a 5-star. It's a reread for me, and I only have about an hour and a half of the book left. So I've read most of the book. So with those 10 books, I read a total of 3,047 pages, which is the lowest I have done in a while. But again, I was reading a lot of Kindle Unlimited books, which tend to be shorter. Of those, 24 and a half hours of that was audiobooks. So I'm really happy with the actual like ratings. So there was no 2 stars, there was no DNFs, there was 1 3-star, 4 4-stars and 5 5-stars. So let's go in with the first book I read in September, which was Barbarian Lover by Ruby Dixon. This is the 3rd book in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, which if you've been watching me a while you know that I actually love this series so much. And I finally read the 3rd book, and it is my favourite book in the series so far. I absolutely love Ahiko. I think that's how you pronounce his name. He's perfect, and I will not be taking any questions on that. Obviously 5-star. This is the highest rated of this series so far, and I am so happy with that. I really enjoyed how this one dealt with Kira's past, and you got to learn a bit more about Kira, and this felt like it did go a bit more into plot. There was smart, don't worry, there was smart, but it did also sort of like evolve the plot a little bit, which I quite liked, and it's opened up the story for book 4, which I'm really excited to get to book 4, and yeah, I really enjoyed this book. Next up, I did a reread of Under One Roof by Ali Hazelwood. We was on the plane going to Florida, and I was fully ready to start reading one of my Kindle Unlimited books, but for some reason my Kindle hadn't downloaded any of them, and even though I definitely downloaded them, but it hadn't downloaded them, and because my phone was on airplane mode and I had no Wi-Fi on the plane, it meant that I couldn't read any of those that I'd planned to. So I just sort of went through what I had on there, and I have the ebook and the audiobook for Under One Roof, so I was like, that's what I'm gonna do, and I listened to the entire thing on the plane and had a damn good time doing it. Obviously it was a 5-star. I absolutely love this book. Are we surprised? Are we also surprised that this is not the only Ali Hazelwood that's going to be on this video? No, we're not. Moving on. Next up was not a reread. Next up was The Dragon's Bride by Katie Robert. Okay, so here's the thing. I know I said, oh, I'm never going to read anything like alien or monster smart or romance because like that's not my thing. And then I started reading The Ice Planet Barbarians, which is obviously aliens, and that's apparently my thing. Yeah, I really enjoyed this. I wasn't expecting to enjoy it as much as I did, but Katie Robert is a really good writer. And I really enjoyed this. This was only a 4-star. It wasn't a 5. It didn't hit the 5-star mark, but I really enjoyed it. And I'm really excited for the second one, which is a kraken, not a dragon. I'm actually worried about enjoying that one. But it's fine. It's fine. I will say this one has a bit of like a Stockholm Syndrome type vibe. But it's fine. It's fiction. It's fiction. And I can't, do you know what? I cannot remember the dragon's name at this point because all the names from another few books that I've read are just in my head right now. But the dragon is such a sweetheart. Like, he was so lovely. So it wasn't like a nasty Stockholm Syndrome. And technically she did agree to be there because she made a deal with the devil, so there was nothing untoward. It was fine, which I think is why I enjoyed it. If it hadn't have been that, then I probably wouldn't. Anyway, next up, I read Nemesis by Lisa Penn and Natasha Lux. This is the first book in the Heroes and Villains series, which is inspired by Marvel smut, essentially. There are 6 books in the series. The first one follows Lilith, who is with Ari Dodgers. Ari Dodgers is Captain America, essentially. And he is not a great person. We're going to get back to that. And he's a hero, though. He's a hero. And she ends up... Ari calls it kidnapped, but I don't. And you would understand it if you read it. By Fallon, who is Falcon. Things happen. I will say, I want to say this might be a spoiler for some, but this doesn't have a cheating trope. Probably why I enjoy it so much. Because when I read the synopsis, I was a bit like, is it going to? But it doesn't. So we're good. This one was a 4-star as well. This is where all the 4 stars come in. I really enjoyed this. It is not my fave. Is it my favorite? Oh, I don't know. Okay, I can't decide if I think this one might be my favorite of the 3 I've read so far. I really enjoyed the storyline, although this one doesn't really explore much of a storyline until the very end, and then it opens it up for the plot of the series, or part of the plot of the series anyway. I really enjoyed this. It was really weird knowing that these are based off of Marvel characters, because, you know, we all know and love the Marvel films. But I did really enjoy it, and we're going to get to the next book, because the next book I read was Alter Ego by the same authors. This was also a 4-star. This one, this is what I mean by I'm not sure, because this one and Nemesis got the exact same on core pile. Like, apart from the first one was lower on logic but higher on writing and atmosphere. Apart from that, it overall it got the exact same number. It's 7.43. So I can't decide which one I prefer more. This one follows Ari, obviously, who is Captain America. It follows Piper, who is Peggy, and it follows Bryce, who is Bucky. And see, this is why I'm thinking this one might be my favourite, because my brain is remembering every single little detail about this book. But this one really, I feel like you get to know Ari a lot more in this one, and Bryce is just everything. And I really liked Piper. I feel like Piper is exactly how Peggy would be in this situation. And I really thought she was written well. I love the poly relationship, and I can't say anything else without spoiling, but there is one thing in particular that I really liked how they wrote it, and it made my heart break a little bit for one of the characters, and I'm just like, the smut was really good. Really good. So yeah, there was this one. And then I read the third one, which is Secret Sanctum. This is my least favourite so far. This was a 3-star. This was my 3-star of the month. I talked about this in my vlog, but basically this one follows Anthony, who is essentially Tony Stark. And then it follows Gwen, who is a character who isn't based on a Marvel character like Lilith in the first one. So basically, I am not a massive, right, I love Iron Man, don't get me wrong, but in that way, no. Like, don't get me wrong, Robert Downey Jr. is attractive, but there's just something about Tony Stark that I just don't find attractive, even in the comics. Like, so I kind of didn't like connect with this one as much, but also it was very insta-lovey, and I'm not a fan of insta-love. I love insta-lust. Insta-lust, yes. Insta-love, no. I will say Alter Ego has a bit of a insta-love type thing, but it's not at the same time. It's hard to describe, but yeah, anyway. And this one just didn't seem, I wasn't connecting with it. I did like that this one really expanded on the plot, and it is really opened up for the rest of the series now. I did enjoy it. I just didn't enjoy it as much, but I am 100% continuing the series because the next book in the series is the Loki one, but I didn't get to that one, unfortunately, which makes me really sad because I really wanted to. But that is how far I got in that series. The next book I read it's The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. Told you it again. I'm sticking with my once every other month rule. This is the only physical book I took with me to Florida. I wanted to start it on the plane, but I didn't want to read physically at the time. So I thought I'll listen to the audiobook. No, no. The audiobook decided it didn't want to download, which was a whole thing, and I still haven't managed to fix it. But yeah, I started it on one of the days where we spent the morning by the pool. And then I finished it the other day, and I just took my time with this one because I read a little bit on the plane before the lights went down and I couldn't read anymore. And I mean, I've talked about this enough, but I love this book so much. Like, this is my world, this book. I have no regrets saying that either. And then next up was another reread, and it was Queen of Shadows by Sarah J Maas, obviously a 5-star. I forgot how much I actually love this one. I cried, obviously, this is me. And it's just, I love this series so much. Like, I can't explain to you how much I love this series. And I'm just really enjoying buddy reading this because whilst it's mine and Ashley's like not first time reading it, I'm really enjoying seeing Catherine, Siobhan and Danny love this series so much and getting to see it as we read it. And it's just, yes, everything. Next up was another buddy read, and it was The Salma Equation by Christina Lauren. I buddy read this one with Catherine. This was a 4-star. I didn't love this one. I do think I prefer Unhoneymooners. This one was a bit more of a slow burn, and you know me, I'm not a massive fan of slow burn. I did think it was very clever, the actual storyline with the whole like soulmates thing and genetically. It is genetically, but that's not how they said it on the audiobook. Anyway, I did really enjoy how they did and how all of that side was explained. And I really liked how I'm not usually a fan of books where one of the characters has a kid because I don't care. But this one was written really well and I really enjoyed it. So quite happy I read this. I don't know if I'd ever read it again, but I enjoyed it. I had a good time. And I would have liked a bigger epilogue because I feel, or rather an epilogue that was a bit more in the future, because I feel like this one, the epilogue, it didn't give me anything of substance that I needed. Like, it could have ended without the epilogue and that wouldn't have mattered. Like, it didn't give me anything new, but it was a cute book and I enjoyed it. And then finally, we have the book I haven't actually technically finished yet, but it's City of Heavenly Fire by Cassandra Clare. I have a huge gap where there's no tabs. I need to go back and tab because I was just listening to the audiobook to try and like speed things up because I haven't had much time to actually sit and read. And I have actually read a little bit more further in because I've been listening to it today because it's the 1st of October today. Just in case you didn't realise. But I am going to finish this one today. I've not got much left, but I absolutely love this book. It is an amazing end to a series. I really love the little nods to future books, like a little bit of foreshadowing on things that if you're a first time reader of this book, it's going to be interesting to read those things, but you're not going to know it as anything other than just something they're mentioning. Whereas someone like me who's read it multiple times and read all of the future books, I read it and I'm like, oh, that links to so-and-so book and so-and-so character. And I'm just like, I love this. I love this world so much. Okay, so that was all of the books. My favourite book of the month. Because obviously I don't count rereads when I look at what my favourite book of the month was, because it's a reread. It's not going to count. My favourite book of the month was Barbarian Lover. I'm okay with this. It was amazing and I'm very happy. But let me know in the comments below what your favourite book you read in September was. I am going to just say right now, I did not complete Bookopoly-thon. I didn't read Jane Austen Investigates. Do you know what? I don't think it's even called Jane Austen Investigates. That's the name of the series. But I just keep calling it that. But I didn't even start it. So yeah, I didn't complete Bookopoly-thon. I've not even logged the 2 books I did read for it. I only had 3 books for Bookopoly-thon as well. Thinking to myself, oh, this will be fine. Clearly not. So yeah. But I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Bye.